Hello? Can anyone around here speak basketball?
There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Trust in Masai. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast. I am your host, Freddie Rivas. And who, sir, are you?
I'm the producer. I'm Matt Duncan. Freddie, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. Thank you very much.
All right.
For anyone that's just tuning in for the first time, we are a Raptors / NBA podcast. We are hardcore fans, and comedians, and actors. We have analysts on sometimes, mostly performer types, but we get into lots of basketball. So thanks for tuning in. If you want to help us more, or just support your local podcaster type thing, how might they do that, Maddie?
Bunch of ways you could help us out. Go to dunkspodcast.com. You can see all our links there. Go to the sonarnetwork.com. That's the podcast network that we are a part of. You can check out other podcasts there as well as listen to our own. But as of course, the best way to support us is to subscribe on those podcatchers, whatever one you want. We don't care. We don't discriminate. That would be fantastic. And if you do decide to go with Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher, these all have rating systems, and we would love it if you could just leave a quick 5-star review or a 2-star if you're not happy with us. But hey, if you could do a 5-star, that would be good too. We'd really appreciate that. And of course, we do have a Patreon. We've been working on Patreon content and stuff. And, you always get the episodes there first. You always get them ad-free. And, it's just a good way to help us and to support us and to be able to do some more stuff with the show. So, yeah, thank you for that. And as well, it is toque season, is definitely toque season out there. If you are out there without a toque on right now, you don't have yours anymore, So get in contact with us. Get one of these toques. Freddie's got them in the Ziplocs. They're ready to go, and we can get your head warmed and itch-free.
Matt, you are an absolute vet, a total pro, and just a marksman when it comes to getting all the bullet points. He's not lying, folks. If you've lost your ear due to frostbite, you come get one of our toques and you get your ears right back. It's a tooth fairy style thing. It's really weird. But anti-itch, keep them in a Ziploc. We have a really good pod today. We got Jonathan Yam. We got Ian Gordon. Jonathan, I know through just being also like a hardcore Raptors basketball fan. Every time I have a stat-based question, he's the guy I hit up. And Ian's hilarious. He's done the podcast a million times. Great, basketball opinions. He's been following the league forever. Huge Raptors fan. And it's a really solid pod. We talk about Devin Booker getting mad at the Raptor in an empty stadium. We talk about the Raptors and their plan to not have a true big. We talk about the teams that are surprisingly not doing well. And oh dear, what is the last thing we talk about, Maddie? We talk about Klay. Yeah, we talk about the return of Klay, and we kind of, just think about other famous returns.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really fun pod. So thank you in advance for listening. Thank you for sharing, for rating, for helping out in any way that you do. And with that, I will say, as I usually do, Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, defund the police, and email your city councilor, call your city councilor. We have a big election coming up in Ontario, and you are a constituent. You have to be listened to. Make sure that you are heard.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. With that said, let's enjoy ourselves some basketball talk. Maddie, if you feel like we're good, we're ready to get into it, please just give me those sweet words I crave oh so much. Okay. All right, let's get going here on episode 229 of Confederacy of Dunks basketball podcasts. It's a good one. We got 2 returning guests, and it's a pretty exciting and nice time to be a Raptors fan. I feel like, despite all of the obvious bad things going on in society. But let's bring on guest number 1. He's done the podcast, I feel like a handful of times. So let me guess, 4 or 5.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Nice. I love how you said I'm right, Maddie, and you don't know who I'm bringing on. But I think I think
well,
you
it
do
can't
know.
be Ian.
Exactly. It's not Ian. He's done the podcast a bunch of times. Usually comes through with some great stats. I don't want to pressure him, but he's amazing. Hardcore Raptors fan, hardcore baseball fan. He'll plug some stuff that he's doing. Give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Jonathan Yam.
Hey, Freddie.
Hey, buddy.
Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thanks for being on, and for those watching on YouTube, yes, Jonathan is in the Tampa Bay ballroom. So cheers to that. Let's just keep this train moving. Let's bring on guest number 2. He's hilarious. He's one of the best in the post players I know. I don't know if he still has like a through line to good headphones. That might be from like a different life. We were just talking about a podcast that he did with comedian Brian Ward, Sandwiches and Chairs. It's just classic Ian. He's a hilarious dude. Amazing basketball takes. He's doing this podcast hiding from his family in a good way. So we'll bear with him whatever happens. But give it up as loud as you can, even if you're at home alone, for Ian Gordon.
Hi, everybody. I really like my sting. I've come around to it.
It's the best.
I forgot this was your sting.
It's terrifying.
That's great.
It's so
like,
scary.
It really is scary. Like, it's almost like what a Scottish villain would have. Like if you said like shortbread into a mirror 5 times instead of Candyman. Shortbread. Then this guy would come out like.
I love how it's
scary.
shortbread and not haggis.
Yeah, haggis would be good too.
You're like, I'm going deeper than haggis, okay? That song is for just a little bit off basketball for a sec. I guess the Jacksonville Jaguars were terrible again. I think they must have been good for a period, but I remember them as only a bad team. Anyhow, their fans were pissed. So they showed up to their last game all dressed as clowns. And
beautiful.
Just Google it. It's terrifying. It's a bunch of like Florida mans in clown makeup. And this, I assume, was the song that they all listened to right on their way, and I guess during.
It is a terrifying song in general, and I like it. It's grown on me, which I don't know what that says about me.
No, it's good. It's good. It's I'd say most people would cook to that song. It's relaxing. Okay, let's talk Raptors. Maddie, good sir, why don't you give me your most delicious, free of Aaron Baines Raptors sting?
Paging Bobby Webster.
Okay, let's go to you first, Jonathan. And Zach Lowe had a podcast recently with Blake Murphy and with Eric Kareen as well. Bruce Arthur was not in the mix this time. A lot of good Raptors stuff. Just like for any Raptors nerds, this is like Nirvana. It was very nice to be kind of like talked about in a nuanced way, by the basketball takesman, I would say. And lots of fun conversation around our long arms and sort of what Masai is building here. And I'll just put it to you this way, Jonathan. Do you think this experiment or this plan or whatever's happening with no big men, no traditional center is working? Do you think it works?
I think it's working so far. I mean, there's going to be cases where there's going to be a mismatch, and where I could see there being a problem is if they're in the playoffs and they're facing a team where there's a mismatch, because then you're not really going to be able to bring somebody else in that isn't already on the roster. But I think having guys that are, versatile, they can defend multiple positions. I mean, we all have heard this. This is where the direction basketball is going in. So it seems to be working fine. But we'll see. Like I said, there could be some mismatches where it's a problem.
I think, I think you summed it up pretty well. I'm in the position of like it's working. However, this roster isn't a final roster. So I feel like there's room for it to be exploited, and also kind of, if we let it breathe, we'll discover more about the players we already have, such as like OG being able to guard Jokic out in the 3-point line, and Jokic is a different player, so he doesn't really bully as much. But you kind of nailed it. I feel like the ultimate goal is to win a championship, and you kind of have to have different covers for different teams depending. So you're going up against Jokic. Maybe he decides, hey, I'm going to post this team up like crazy. Embiid obviously is the first guy that everyone throws out there. But also Lopez and Giannis, and I think other really dominant big men might be able to just destroy the Raptors. But where are you at, Ian? Do you think it's working? Do you think it's worthwhile?
I mean, I agree with you, with Jonathan, in terms of it is kind of where the game is going. You don't see as many large, sort of immobile-ish centers anymore. The 5 is as blurred of a line as it's ever been. Mm-hmm. You had the Lakers have played their best basketball with LeBron at the 5 recently. So, You know what I mean? So, again, if you're looking at the number of teams that pose a threat that have a big man traditional center, there aren't that many. Of course, there's Embiid and there's Giannis and Jokic and these guys that you name. But, I mean, if you want to kind of assist that, you could obviously sign a sort of a defensive first center that can come in, and if Denver switched to playing low post ball and banging in the post, you could bring in your big man and do what you had to do. I think that other teams would be forced to adjust to us more than we would be forced to adjust to a typical 5. Like, if we can flush out this lineup with, a lot of length, defensive prowess, tons of movement, then we're going to be better off than the other teams that might have a traditional center. If you're looking at people maybe to sign, I love our starting 5, but let's say you think about that might be an issue. Then you sign that big man and you bring him in if you need to. And then you sign more shooting specialists and a large sort of defensive first center. Then you can kind of adjust by slotting in that particular position with a rock solid sort of new age-ish starting 5.
Yeah, I think, just to add to what you were saying, and I feel like we're all, in agreement, and we've seen it play out the last month or so. Like, we've seen it kind of work. I'm thinking about Jonas having a really good game against the Raptors, but also, the Pelicans struggling in transition and Siakam feasting with Jonas on the court. Or we have this amazing game that just happened against Phoenix, and DeAndre Ayton, he only got off 7 shots, and we out rebounded the Suns by, I think, like 15 or 13 or something like that. So like, we really, the idea of us being like in trouble because we didn't have a stylistic matchup to the Suns, like, that didn't really play out. Would a playoff series be different? For sure. But, to your point, I think like we're trying to eke out or carve out our own identity. So I think it's about building that identity and then finessing it when we're at that next stage. Like, oh man, this identity keeps hitting a wall.
Mhm.
You know, and I think we've seen from Masai that he has enough patience to hit that wall and then, you know, do a culture change and then see what that's like and then make a trade and then, you know, just kind of make sure you got the foundation and then build up from there, as opposed to, you know, like trying to get someone who you think will help you, but might not, depending, like, you know, whose minutes is he taking away? Is he taking away Barnes, OG, or Siakam's minutes?
Mhm.
That doesn't seem constructive. And then, you know, you got other things going on, like Siakam is doing a really good job playing the center position.
Mhm.
And, you know, Boucher is kind of coming to life. And yeah, that kind of brings me to this Phoenix game, because I feel like the Raptors got 6 wins in a row. Obviously, there wasn't a lot of good competition there. The Pelicans were probably the healthiest team we played until the Suns. And the Raptors played the Suns really well. We lost in the end, and there was some, you know, I guess some key mistakes on our part. But more than that, I feel like Phoenix made clutch plays. Chris Paul was awesome. Booker was kind of awesome at the end. And Matt, I want you to come in here, actually, because I'm setting this up like it's a serious question, and it's honestly not at all. I kind of want to talk about this weird moment where Devin Booker is taking like a pivotal free throw. You know, normally, right? Think packed arena. Everyone's going insane. They all have the bangy.
They're doing the kid
things.
street. They're doing the kid street.
I don't even know what that is.
I remember
But
that.
check it out on
Johnny
YouTube.
gets it. Johnny gets it.
It's a game
Matt's-
show.
Okay, well, Matt, I think, I don't know. He's doing a weird.
They clapped over their heads like this.
They were sitting in race cars.
Okay, fair. It's just, Matt, I can't see your hands when you do that. So there you go. He adjusted, folks. He fit the frame.
Now you get it.
Anyways, Booker freaked out, like totally freaked out, and yelled at the Raptors mascot for distracting him, which is only weird and only funny, and it's kind of like a self-own by Booker. Anyways, the Raptor handled it well and was like, all right, it's an empty arena, but I guess I'll go take a knee over here because this guy's a wiener. Anyways, that made me think, like, I hope the Raptors are frustrated at that because we don't have a home court advantage. I hope they're like, this is not cool. And, you know, whether it's giving the Raptor instructions, like if a ref tells you to relocate, do the same gesture to the ref. Like, make them forcibly remove you. You know what I mean? You're allowed to be here. And, anyways, we deserve an advantage. We deserve to distract people. And I hope the Raptors are not gonna, you know, get scared of a star player getting mad. So, Ian, let's go to you first. What is your method of distraction?
I mean, I would like to go as classic as they come, personally. And again, this does require some finesse on the distractor's part. But I think letting out a really, especially, and again, this is empty arena, relatively quiet.
Okay.
I would prepare by eating boiled cabbage and spicy sausage, and I would try to time a fart, I think, because not only is it a distracting noise, but it's also like it's also really funny. So I think that maybe the jest associated with it will distract more than the noise. Because if you hear somebody ripping a big fart, and maybe I'll be like hunched over with my hands on my hips, looking backwards like a 50s pinup model, and I rip a fart and I let a big smile, you're gonna laugh at, like, you'd be distracted.
It's funny, yeah.
It's great. That's just good stuff. But again, it has to be a packed arena, or an empty arena rather, because not only would nobody hear it on a large scale, but I would probably be ostracized in my section quite substantially.
Oh, for sure. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
That's good.
This is what we need.
Okay.
100%. I got the full picture of you smiling back.
Yeah, the whole gamut.
Booker, you know, he's already done his one game in Phoenix, but I sure hope we get, somebody else with that, because that's a solid one.
It's a good one.
Jonathan, I mean, hard act to follow, like a cabbage and sausage fart. But
there's only so many bodily functions that you can use here, but I got a couple of favors just from my baseball watching experiences.
Good.
What I love is the seats above the opponent's bullpen, because guys will hang out over their bullpen. Like how at the Sky Dome they've got those seats right above it.
Mhm.
So a lot of times there's going to be fans that are sitting there right above the other team's relief pitchers and just like yelling at them. And this takes a bit of research, but yelling at them with like stats or talking about specific games that they pitched where they were terrible or where they buckled under the pressure.
Oh yeah.
We should pull some of those up, because I'm sure not just Booker, but anybody. I'm sure there's a game where they've messed up. And another one I saw, and this was unintentional, but I saw a game where a guy took a free throw, and then as it always happens, like you take the free throw, whether you make it or miss it, you end up high-fiving your teammates. Everyone just kind of reaches in with a hand. But I saw this one guy, I think he just kind of did this out of instinct without realizing that it wasn't his own team that was doing the free throw. And he reached in and tried to like high-five the guy that just took the free throw, but they're not on the same team. So I think doing little weird things like that might be enough to distract the free throw, because it just like throws them out of the routine. It's like everybody's reaching
100%.
in for a high five, but then there's this one guy in the other uniform doing it.
I like it. I like the idea of us having like a dedicated person being like, every time they go for a free throw, Precious, you go up and like you give them a high five. Hell, try and hug them. You know what I mean? Every free throw, make or miss.
Well, if it's Booker, just double team him. He hates that.
Yeah.
It's
Booker, we know from Summer League, he does not like double teams. Which is that's such a strange thing. It's an odd thing to be mad about when you're a good scorer that I assume expects that. But to your point, like specific heckles, I got to shout out Matt Henry, who does this pod, and he'll usually target like a role player and really, really go after him, because you never know. You never know what's gonna like bother someone and influence the game. Like this game was, we only lost by 4, right? So these are good. These are good strategies. Maddie, what's up?
Yeah.
How are you gonna do? How are you gonna distract people?
Well, first off, I want to clarify a couple things. In the press conference after the game, Booker referred to the Raptors the blow-up doll, and for one, it wasn't the blow-up that he had an issue with. Now, the Raptor is not in the blow-up. That's a different guy, right, Fred?
That I don't know. That's an MLSC secret.
Okay, so the Raptor could be in there in full gear in the blow-up. Anyway, didn't like that shot. Turning the Raptor into a sex doll. That guy can do a backflip, okay? That guy can do a backflip. So what I would like to do, and I would like it to be timed perfectly, just like it was then when he was, the game is on the line. He's got to make these free throws. I'm going to do something called the old Kardashian reveal. Okay. So I want to play it the exact same way. Now, just let me preface this by saying that Devin Booker is dating one of the Kardashians. He's dating Kendall Jenner. Okay. Kendall Jenner. The other one, Kylie's sister. So what's gonna happen here? Same thing's gonna happen. The Raptor's just gonna put his arms up. Devin's gonna freak out like he likes to do, but for the first time ever, we're gonna see the Raptor take his head off and do a reveal. And who's in there? Kris Jenner. So now he's got his girlfriend's mom is the Raptor. She's been doing the whole game as the Raptor, like doing backflips and shit. It's good. That's gonna really screw with his head. But then the blow up is also there. The blow up on the second shot pops the blow up Raptor suit, reveals Kendall's other mom, Caitlyn Jenner.
Huge.
So we got both Kardashian parents there watching Devin Booker, screwing with him. And let me tell you something. He's missing one of those shots.
Yeah. I mean,
At
for
least
sure.
one.
Like, at the very least, he'll would want to say hi to his family or something. Like, it would be really like he'd think he'd be part of a show, and then we'd get to be like, no, this is a Raptors thing.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
It would be really confusing. Hey, like,
he's going to be Chuck Hazen all over that free throw line.
I love it. That's a nice reference. I'll also, just to tag on your idea, Maddie. I mean, why don't you throw in a masturbating monkey? It takes off its head. Jim Carrey. Okay. Is that was it a monkey that was on Conan? It
was a bear.
It was a bear.
Bear. Masturbator bear, yeah.
Well, listen, we know monkeys are more into that shit.
Hey,
okay?
I'm
So
all
that's
for mascot reveals,
Me too. Oh my god. Hey, man, fuck, you can have like Oladipo come in as a masked singer. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Just bring them all out. I like it. Okay, mine is, I think, probably less funny than everyone's, but I really do think mine would be good. So you have, very limited personnel that can be in the arena. So that's a problem. You need security.
Right.
Here's what you do. You get a couple of security guards and you're like, listen, you're watching this gate. That's fine. Do your thing. But when you get the call, you're going to get a little pager and we're going to give you a bunch of extra money to act like there's been like a distress call. So like this security guard, and I don't mean like clear the arena like there's a bomb. I mean like I want that security guard to be like, oh my God, my wife's going into labor, like type of thing, and like really like start to make like a big deal about it, and try to get the person doing the free throw to like help you. But then the ref's like, no delay in game. Like I'm counting like 9, 10, and then like the person's like, help, like sort of thing. So something like that, or like someone like, getting a call. It's like, oh my goodness, like my uncle has been kidnapped or something like something really serious, but it's all an act. And then at the end of the game, if the other team's like really upset, the security guard can just be like, I'm not a fan of your team. So that's my answer.
You could also do the Tommy Boy special and pretend there's a bunch of bees that have been released.
Oh.
Yeah, release the bees.
Yeah.
Or go Simpsons. Like release the dogs with that
Bees
bark
in their mouths.
bees. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk some NBA. We took this to Silly Town. Devin Booker, chill out.
Chill out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll take a quick break here in case of any ads. And we're back. Okay, Matty D, give me your most glorious, weird, Adam Silver sounding NBA sting.
This is Adam Silver.
Really got that honk down.
National Basketball Association.
Wow, thanks, Matt. I love when Matt throws that in there because it's the most common message we get, right? Like, what is this about?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Basketball.
What does
It's
it
about
stand for?
basketball. Okay, let's go to you first, Ian. Just sort of like Klay is back, and that's really nice. I'm very happy for him, and kind of got me thinking, like, what's another return that has been like nice to watch? It doesn't have to be about basketball. It doesn't have to be from an injury per se, but yeah, what's a nice kind of glorious return that you can remember?
Well, one that I came to mind was not basketball, but sports still, was actually Ray Bork. It was such a weird thing to see him, play for a different team other than Boston. I think he played for Boston for 79 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he seemed
a long
like
time.
Sometimes these hockey players, they seem like they're so old, even though I'm older than them now. But anyway, then he went and he won with Colorado, and after he won, he came to Boston, and there were like 20,000 fans that actually celebrated for him. They were like, "Good for you, Ray." And so I thought that was interesting. Like, your team didn't even win. You're just really so happy for this particular former player that you're willing to go and celebrate on his behalf, which is kind of funny.
I love that. That's like pure sports feel good stuff.
And for coming from Boston fans, it really must say something, because, people, if anybody is listening from Boston, you're great. But we know that they can be pretty horrible in terms of sports. They're people from Boston. God love them. I got some family down there. But when you get them in an arena, they're all a bunch of shitbags.
I couldn't agree more. A shame on them.
A shame. Shame.
But also, like sports has that power, right? Like when you kind of expect the pettiest behavior, and all of a sudden there's like very valiant, like nice, kind of like good spirited behavior. You're like, wow, this is profound. So cheers to Ray Bork, 77. I'd like to play with him in NHL 93.
Oh, he was good.
But I usually play with the Red Wings. Shout out Dino Cicerelli. Yam, what's up, man? Who's your or not who necessarily? Is there a moment like that? Again, doesn't have to be basketball, could be baseball.
There's
or
for
whatever.
sure. There's a couple for me. I was a Raptors season ticket holder the year Michael Jordan came back the second time.
Oh, wow.
So I got to see his first game as a Wizard, like not as a Wizard, but his first game in Toronto as a Wizard.
Cool.
In person. So that was surreal. And partly because I'd never actually seen him live in a game, but also just like, it was a big deal because he's back. So that was interesting. He missed a dunk, which was also weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. The other one for me was last year with the Blue Jays coming back to Toronto after starting the season in Dunedin and then being in Buffalo for part of the season and then finally being able to make it back to Toronto, fans in the stadium. I thought I was going to cry when I saw the first game. Like I was watching the first game on TV and it was just like, I know that there had been a lot of build up to it and everything, and I didn't really think it was going to be a big deal. But then once the game started and just all the stuff started happening, it was just like, this is a big deal. And and then even like I went to my first game like probably later that week, and it was overwhelming because it's like you go from not leaving the house and seeing anybody, and then to suddenly it's like this kind of feels like a bit more like what normal life was before all this stuff started. So I think those were probably the biggest ones that kind of stand out for me.
Those are great ones. I had similarly emotional feeling when I went to the one Raptor game I went to this year, the Washington game, also known as the Super Spreader event. But it felt so familiar and like nice, and I hope for more of those moments on the horizon. But I guess we're in a little bit of a hunkering down right now. I was thinking for this question that not one specific return, but I kind of like this sort of tampering thing that Scotiabank and the MLSE is doing, where anytime a Canadian comes home, they give them a little bit of love. And I think I like that long term as a strategy for the Raptors, but also as a unique thing. Like, we're the Canadian team, and I just think it's really cool that whether it's who's the guy, we just did it for a guy on the Spurs who's like 19 years old. Can't remember his name right now, but I'll find it in a sec. But it was just really nice. And the other
guy
one
that played in Halifax. He was
perhaps
was he the guy playing in the Canadian League? Yeah.
It starts with an M. I believe
his last name's Moon. I can't remember his first name.
Oh, it's Jamario. That's it. It's not Jamario, but yeah, my other one is actually the Winnipeg Jets. I think that they lost their team. It always seemed strange to me that that a place like Winnipeg, doesn't get to have a team when you have all these small markets in the U.S. I get it, the U.S. TV contracts, et cetera, et cetera. I know there's real stuff there, but I love that the Winnipeg got their team back. I love that it's going well. Kind of just happy for Manitoba there. I don't like their. I don't like that they're like a military jet. It feels weird to cheer for, but listen, I'm being positive right now. I don't need to I don't know, slag pilots, but it's a weird logo. It's a weird vibe, but I'm happy for the city. Okay, let's move to this next question here, and let's go to you. Let's go to you, Jonathan. And yeah, just I'm gonna pull up the standings just in case any team just started having a bad record. But out of East or West, what's the most surprising team to you that has a losing record right now?
I think just going by playoff success last year, seeing the Atlanta Hawks where they are in the standings right now, I kind of expected them to. I mean, they made it to the conference finals last year, but and then I don't know if they would have gotten back there this year, but you kind of expect them to take another step forward because they're a relatively young team. Trae Young had a great year. He's going to continue to get better. He's still very young. And I think they've been relatively healthy this season, so it's just kind of surprising to see where they are in the standings right now, just based on that.
Yeah, the Hawks are 100% my number one team. I have like two backups, but you nailed it. They had a great playoff run, like an awesome playoff run. So, and yeah, I think they've had their bouts with COVID and that sort of thing, but relatively healthy to my knowledge. Yeah, they have been relatively healthy, compared to the rest of the league. And I thought they'd take a bit of a step back, but also, yeah, this is like, it's too big of a step back for, what anyone anticipated. They're 5 games below 500 and we're almost at the halfway mark of the season. So if you're a Hawks fan, you're already having to grapple with the fact that it's like home court is absolutely not happening. And you'll kind of be lucky to be not fighting to be in the play-in. And that's assuming you go on a big run. Okay, Ian, who's your team?
Similar. I thought about Indiana. Now, I think that I expected them to be a better team this year. I thought that their players that they had a good year last year. Sabonis, Brogdon, Turner, and just for whatever reason hasn't seemed to come together for them. They've got a lot of talent on the roster, and I know I mean everyone's had COVID protocol issues, but theirs haven't been more substantial than other teams as far as I can tell, and they're actually playing pretty bad enough basketball that management has talked about kind of blowing it up, and you see Turner on the trading block, and I'm surprised by that. The other one, not so much. A little bit, actually, maybe just based on history, are the Spurs. It's been a couple of years since they've been, in the top of the Western Conference. But for them, if you look at the Spurs roster, and there's a lot of who are you? And normally, there's not a lot of that on that roster. It's usually pretty tight. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, because I guess it has to happen, right? It's a matter of time. You have 20 years of excellent basketball. Eventually, you're maybe not going to be the best team.
Yeah, and I think they're interesting because it's I think they've had some asset management issues, and starting from, if you think about the Kawhi, basically post Duncan, it's been a slow unraveling. Although, unlike other teams, they've kind of continued to make sure their role players are good and they have a good culture. So it's been a real slow trip to the bottom. They definitely didn't do the yank the cord, let's be a bad team. Even by doing DeRozan Kawhi trade. Like DeRozan, he brings a certain level of professionalism and like structure to a team, and it seems like this is the first year they just really don't have any of that, and they're just kind of developing guys and losing games. But to your point, the Spurs losing is a surprise. Anyone who's been a basketball fan for a while, they are the model franchise. So, good answer. The Hawks. I didn't have the Spurs. I had the Hawks as my number one, and then my backup team was the Trailblazers. I didn't expect them to be 8 games below 500. I didn't really even expect them to be a 500 team. I kind of thought that they'd be, I don't know, 5th or 6th or something like that in the West. I think they've had some bad health stuff. CJ obviously went down, but still, they're a franchise that is usually pretty good as well. They're like a win now franchise, right? Like, they just made that the Norm trade and signed Norm, and like they definitely are trying to be good. So with that said, I think that's the trade deadline stuff is creeping up, but I would just a little side note, I'd keep my eye on the Blazers for a bunch of reasons. But my other team I was going to throw out there is the Celtics. They're only 1 game below 500, but again, I think that not having a good floor general, like I laughed at the idea that Vegas had the Celtics for 45 wins or something insane. But besides that, I still thought they would be like a 41 win team or 42 or something. Like I didn't really think that they would struggle as hard as they have. And they have.
What did they say the Raptors were? Remember you were trying to get me to buy in.
Yeah, I think the Vegas over for the Raptors, I believe, was 36 games.
Oh shit!
So if you bet on the over, I think you're feeling pretty good about that.
You got to wonder how long Stevens is going to be around if they keep this up.
I know, and I love that. I love wondering about Brad Stevens' demise. Like especially since like he didn't. Like he was, he's a good coach. Like he definitely like made it to the conference finals twice, but for him to be like, it seems like he seems like the type of guy that can fail upwards. Like he can like not win a championship, and someone's like, okay, fine, you're the GM now, and then it's like he can be a bad GM, and someone will be like, all right, do you want to own the team?
White guy in basketball,
right?
For a long time, failing upwards. I've never heard of that happening.
I know,
shocker,
absolute shocker. Brad Stevens. Who I always got to add, even though I make fun of this guy, by all accounts, he's a really nice guy and like players love him, but it's too much. He's the head coach of my rival. I don't know what to do. I got to slam him. Okay. I think that's the end of the traditional part of the pod. And if you all would indulge me, I'd like to do some Freddie trivia. What do you think? Sound good?
I'm up for
yes.
Yeah, I guess I was waiting for a response there. But it would have been funny if you're all like, actually, we're done here, boss. Okay, we're going to do the roster game. Maddie, I don't know if you want to play the quickish question sting just for fun. If you don't, that's okay.
Sure, I'll add to it.
Yeah,
Team quiz! Team!
I'm not sure.
Quiz!
I am not sure what I was asking for. Now I know it was that. Thank you, Matt. You've lost your mind, clearly. There's a reason if the video screen was on Matt right now, he'd be like doing like the Oompa Loompa dance or something. Like, Maddie, what's up? Welcome on screen. You're doing the clap. I can see your hands. Looks great. The clap that, of course, what's that called? The kid clap?
No, Kid Street. Yeah.
Kid Street. Great.
That might be the thing that screws up Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just asking him if he knows Kid Street. That will screw him up. He's about to take a free throw. But do you know the show Kid Street? And he'll be like, I'm 22. And he'll be like, do you know it? You know?
I'm surprised you don't know what it is, Fred. I'm kind of shocked.
It sounds familiar.
You know the host of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's Kevin
Kevin Prang, is that his name?
Kevin Frank.
Kevin Frank.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kevin
he was
Frank.
that was his big thing. He was the host of Kids Street.
What's up, Kevin Frank? Sorry about Matt. You know what I mean? Okay, let's do this. Matt and Ian, if you haven't played this game, here's how it works. You get 3 strikes, and you have to. I've got to pick a roster for you, and you have to name guys that are on the roster. And every time you name someone that's not on the roster, that's an X.
Oof.
The qualifier for this game is that it's pretty hard, and it's rare that anyone gets like 4 or 5 players. So just let it fly. Have some fun. Maddie did good last week. Someone else got like 8 or 9. Very rare.
Yeah.
So let's start with you. Let's go with you, Jonathan, first. I'll ask you this. Do you want an easy, medium, or hard team?
To be honest, I haven't paid a lot of attention to other teams this year, so let's start easy.
Okay, that's very fair. That's very fair. Okay, so your team is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay, so do I just name as many as I can?
As many as you can on the roster.
Okay. Does Ben Simmons count?
Ben Simmons counts.
Okay. Joel Embiid.
Yep.
God, is Danny Green still playing for them?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Doing good.
All right. I'm trying to think of who their point guard is. It's not Drew Holiday anymore, so... Oh, Shake Milton plays for them.
Yep. Nice one.
There's another... Oh, Seth Curry. That's who I was thinking
Seth Curry. Yep. Doing great.
Blanking. There's another guard too, but I can't remember who it is. Because I have Seth Curry on my fantasy team, so whoever else they have was backing him up. Everyone I can think of is not there anymore. I'm just thinking back to like 2019 when we beat them.
I always take this other guy. No, you're thinking of.
I'll give you one hint before we start docking you a bit. He was a potential return in a potential Kyle Lowry trade.
Josh Richardson?
That's your first X. He plays for the Celtics.
Damn it.
Okay, I'll give you.
Gotta
I'll
have-
give you. What's that?
They got to have some other big men too, though.
There's some other big man. I'm gonna
They
start
have a lot
giving
of
you a
big-
countdown
Okay.
before we give you an X.
All right.
It's a visual countdown.
Problem. I think Luau Cabro doesn't play for them anymore, does he?
I don't think so. Let me just go back and check.
Remember
He
they
does
drafted
not.
him.
No.
All right.
Okay. One more.
No, I'm blanking. Sorry.
Hey, you did good. Let me throw these 2 names out to you because I feel like they would have been in your world. Wait. First, Ian or Maddie, do you have any off the top of your head?
Well-
Well, the one that I always draft is Tobias Harris.
Oh, yeah.
Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Ian, any other guys?
Maxi.
Maxi and
That's
Tybalt.
the guy I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, Maxi and Tybalt would be the guys I feel like you could get.
Yeah.
Okay, Ian, what's up? You saw how this
Good
game
though.
works.
I have to go easy. I have to go easy. This is
You
a
gotta
pen
go easy.
kid. I don't on a free time. So if it's a hard team, I looked at the Spurs roster and I was like,
Oh, Spurs is a nightmare. Spurs is really hard.
crazy. So yeah, I'll
Okay.
take it, please.
Now this is easy, but none of them are really that easy. So I'm giving you the Utah Jazz.
Oh, okay. We'll go Rudy.
Yep.
We'll go Mitchell.
Sorry, what?
What would you say there? You're breaking up.
Mitchell. Do you hear me?
Mitchell. Yep.
Ingles.
Yep.
Smoke and
Oh,
my,
What do you say?
Smoke and Joe.
Smoking Joe?
Who is their small forward? Do they have? Oh God, what's the?
Wait,
guy's-
did you say Joe?
Is it not Joe Ingles?
It
Like,
is.
You said them before, though.
Joe Ingles. I thought all I heard was Smoking Joe.
Yeah, Smoking Joe Ingles.
Yeah, hell yeah, he smokes.
What the hell is this guy's name? He.
I think you're at 4, by the way.
No, only 3, dude.
Cheers.
I think I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He's a power forward. Oh man, I don't know. What
Pretty
is
hard.
his name?
That's one buzzer.
B.
He's similar
think-
to it. There's someone has a similar name to an all-time great big man. It was the same last name.
Somebody Malone?
Nope, no Malone. Okay, that's 2 X's. Last chance here to save
I'm-
yourself for the Jazz.
The Jazz?
Is your guess the Jazz?
Well, no. Jerry Sloan?
Jerry Sloan.
No. I don't know. Tell me more guys.
That's it. I think you got.
I got 3.
We got 3. That's okay, Ian. Don't worry. This game's really hard.
It is hard.
Let me throw this name out to you. Royce O'Neal. Is that who you're thinking about?
Oh my God, Royce O'Neal. I know. I didn't know he was on the Jazz.
And then I'll also throw out. I'm not sure. Did you name Mike Conley?
Oh no, I did not.
Yeah, no, he
And
didn't.
Then you got Bojan Bogdanovic, Jordan Clarkson,
Oh man. Okay, yeah.
Rudy Gay. I think it's pretty hard and weird after that.
Once you hear those names, you're like, oh right.
Hassan Whiteside.
Mm.
I didn't know they had Whiteside. Whiteside plays for every team. Plays for 6
He
teams
does.
a year.
The game is very hard this time around too because COVID has made things insane.
Yeah.
Okay, Maddie, what's up? You
Oh,
did really good
God.
last time with the Heat.
I mean, yeah, I feel like I don't remember any players in this league right now. It always gets me. Yeah, just give me whatever you think is good.
Okay, here we go, Maddie. Boston Celtics.
Okay, Boston Celtics, I can handle a little bit here. Okay, so
Here we
we
go.
got Jim Brown. We got Tatum. We got Brown. Oh, there's so many more. Why am I only see what happens? You see what happens when you blank?
It's a tough game. I don't know what to say.
Oh yeah, the guy I always drop, Marcus Smart.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Other guy on my team. Why don't I just think of the team that I drafted? Dennis Schroeder.
Nice. 4 guys. Hello,
I
Maddie.
do have a lot. I have so many Celtics on my team.
I thought.
I think I
Schroeder.
drafted 5 of them. My God, yeah, Schroeder's on there. Oh God. Oh, there's like who's the vet? There's like a vet
Mm-hmm.
on that team.
He used to be on the team. Then he went away. He came back.
Horford.
Nice. Okay, it's pretty hard now, so I'm going to start
yeah.
the clock on you.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything you pull out from this point on, nice.
Okay, I'm just trying to picture Brad Stevens running a practice right now. Just give me a
Yeah.
sec.
It's not even Brad Stevens, so it's MA now.
Oh
Okay,
my
that's
God, I
One
can't
buzzer
think.
for you.
Is there? Is that no? Ennis Cantor's not there, right? Ennis Cantor?
No, good guess though.
Yeah, he's gone.
Wait a second, Ennis is there. I'm sorry, it's Ennis Freedom. But that's I'll give it to you. That's right.
But I said Cantor. He's not there.
Well, you changed his name to Freedom.
Oh,
But
so
the
he
player
is there.
Is very much there still.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got. Oh God, I don't know. Okay,
Okay. Here we are. Take a guess.
Richardson.
Yes.
Josh Richardson.
Yes. Okay.
That's
5
all I
more
got.
seconds.
There's no way I can.
You tapped?
There's Garnett.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you're done. Ian and Jonathan, any steals?
Robert Williams, Time Lord.
Yep. Robert
Oh,
Williams, Time Lord. Nice
yeah.
one. Ian?
Damn.
No
Matt
steals.
did good. Like, I would say, I don't
As I
know,
said,
man.
Drafted heavy Boston this year.
Peyton Pritchard, Romeo
Oh my
Langford,
God.
Wow.
Juancho Hernan Gomez. Like,
And
you
his
did
freedom.
good. Freedom. Okay,
Wow.
guys, that's it. We made it to the end of the pod.
Thank you.
You both so much for doing it. Thanks everyone for listening it and sharing it and spreading the good word. Ian, let's go to you first. Obviously, we're not really gigging like we normally are, but what's up? What do you want to let people know?
You can follow me on Instagram, shirt_Gordon if you want. I post lots of stories, and if and when shows come back, I always post them there. And yeah, I'm hoping to do more gigs soon. I'm hoping that we can put this behind us and open up the bars and have some more fun. But that said, everyone needs to be safe and healthy and happy.
Damn right. Jonathan, what's up? What are you doing? What do you want to let people know?
Yeah, so I write a trivia newsletter. It's mostly based in sports trivia. So we just had a new issue come out today. It's called Oddball, and we're on Substack. So it's
Hell
just
yeah.
on oddball.substack.com.
Right on. Everyone check out Oddball.
Nice.
Sports trivia. It's the best. Maddie, I think that's it for us. I think
That's
we
it.
made it. Once again, thanks everybody. Tune in next week. Jonathan, Ian, appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
And,
Freddie. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate it,
having us.
guys.
Yeah, my
All right.
pleasure.
Matt, if you feel like we're good to go, we're gonna wrap this baby up. Just give me those sweet words. Okay.
Okay.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.